Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Age the Veilguard is so atrociously bad that even the shill media is now coming to do damage control for themselves for their absolutely outrageous, dishonest, and, by the way, scam reviews in the upfront and the lead up for Dragon Age the Veilguard. So, this is how it works. IGN hires one of these freaks, one of these just degenerate in the cult, they're transgender, and so they give the game a 9 out of 10 in order to basically just affirm themselves. That's essentially what this is. The game has LGBTQ elements, this person's LGBTQ, so the game gets a 9 out of 10, despite it being a 2 out of 10 piece of trash. So, what happens after the game sells as poorly as it does? It's not received well, people are constantly shitting on it, and you on your website have a 9 out of 10. Well, you come out with articles that are talking about the problems with the game. So people are saying, well, IGN sort of like revised their score down to a 7, and that doesn't appear at this time from anything that I've found to be official. They still seem to have it at a 9 out of 10, which is egregious. But now we're looking at the media catching up and trying to undo the damage they did. But here's the deal. There is no one doing the damage. If I'm ever in a position where I'm unsure about a game, the last people in the world that I'm going to trust are Polygon, Kotaku, IGN, or any of these shills, because they were perfectly content to take money or to take clout or to take some kind of favor or to take something in order to lie to you so that you paid your hard-earned money up front, and ultimately they were hoping that you buy the game, you play it for too long to get a refund, and that was that. They wiped their hands out of that. Oh, boom. We got paid, we're happy, who cares about the consumer? That is one of the main reasons why I find this game to be just so rich in content to talk about. I've made so many videos on this because there are so many failures across the board. We don't even need to talk about BioWare. Yeah, we could. We don't even need to talk about the game. We could just look at the access journalist media, the corrupt gaming press that lied to the audience, that was giving this game 9s and 10s in order to manipulate you to buy the game. They wanted you to pay your hard-earned money on this game, even though they had no duty of care for whether it was actually good or bad. And in order to bypass any sort of criticism, they let one of these trans freaks go in there and just do a puff piece on it. Not really addressing any of the hard-hitting stuff, not really getting in there and saying, yeah, this isn't going to be for everyone, not going in and giving an actual review score that is reflective of what the end game and what the end goal was. More often than not, in the build-up for the game, we heard over and over how this was the most inclusive game. We would hear these streamers go, as somebody who's non-binary, I'm so glad this game has more representation than any game I've ever experienced. We heard that over and over and over. I played clips, clip after clip after clip of that being the standard line. That this game has more choices and more diversity and more inclusion than any game. And the fact is that these freaks don't understand that that is not a selling point. That is a kiss of death. That is atrocious. That is wildly unpopular. Do you understand that nobody, and I mean nobody, who is of sound mind and isn't one of these freaks wants that into their game? Wants that to be the selling point of their game? Wants that to be the main focus in the marketing material? Hey, guess what? There's somebody who plays the pronoun game. Hey, there's somebody who's a freak and they're part of this degenerate cabal. Wow, my wallet is open. I want to pay $70 for that. I want to pay $70 for a substandard experience where a bunch of backroom degenerate losers, a bunch of low IQ, desperate for attention narcissists can try to lecture me on the appropriate usage of pronouns in the appropriate terms. Oh my God, I can't wait. Sign me up. I'm going to pay you to trauma dump. You should be paying me. Because why do I have to be your therapist that affirms all your bullshit? Stick that garbage into therapy. I'm so marginalized, and I have a bad relationship with my father, and I have a bad relationship with my mother. They don't understand me. Save that stuff for a therapist. Stop putting it into the games that we love and then expecting us to pay money for it. I'm not paying you a dime. This game is a Frankenstein's monster of bad ideas, bad decisions, bad marketing, bad optics, bad will all the way around. There is nothing about this game that is remotely positive for BioWare. There's nothing about this game that is remotely positive for the gaming press. This game is devastating to the gaming industry and the gaming landscape. You have a multi-year cycle as it relates to the development of this game. You have hundreds of millions of dollars put into this game through the actual development and through the marketing and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? An abysmal, laughable player count. Sales that, from what we're learning, is in the 500,000 to 600,000 range. But even if you put it at 700,000 copies since launch, even if you put it at 8,000 copies since launch, it's still a failure. No one's talking about this game but the people critiquing it in the hopes that it sparks a larger conversation. Because here's the deal. The reason why I continue to make videos on this and why I will continue to make videos on this is very simple. First of all, you're all watching and I appreciate that. But more than that, I'm hoping to pound this issue over and over and over again until these stupid freaks understand, until they get it, until there's no ambiguity, there's no confusion, there's no way they can say, well, we were caught off guard. I want it to be crystal clear. I want this game to be a beacon. I want to basically turn this game into the Reigns of Castamere, where every time you even hear a note of this particular tune, you go, oh shit, we don't want that to happen to us. I wanted this game to be good. I want all the Dragon Age games to be good. I want BioWare to be good. I want it to succeed. And this is what these backbenching freaks don't understand. And I played it in my other video. This guy that looked like a Down syndrome Hassan biker, he went on a tirade about how people who criticize DEI, they want it more than anyone because without it, they wouldn't have a career. That is so bullshit. That is so false and fake. And that is just pure cope. No, you absolute mongoloid. I would be more than happy if the game did astonishingly well, so well that I could do videos talking about it and sharing my love for the game, and there would be other people that love the game as well, and massive numbers that come in to share their thoughts about the game being good. That would be perfect. That used to be the way things were. You know, back in school, we would always talk about the things that we love. We would always find camaraderie around Dragon Ball Z. It brought all these people in. But these freaks are so mentally retarded that they don't understand that the negativity is born from a reaction to the dog shit that's being presented. It is not something that's being generated by us. It's being generated by them, and we are responding. And they don't like the reflection in the mirror that we're putting up. And so they blame it on us. But I got to tell you, growing up, there was a lot of media that people loved, and they loved to talk about it, and they loved to share it. That's what we need to return to. A time where games were allowed to be games. Where they were allowed to be different and unique and good and compelling. We need to return to a time where people respected your dollar and they respected your time and they gave you something that was actually worth a damn. You know, when I was growing up, there were some games that were great, some games that were not, but people still tried. There were more wacky and zany games back when I was growing up. You know, you had a game, I don't remember what it is. Let me look it up real quick to see. The Jack Black video game. What was it called? Jack Black video game. Brutal Legends, back in 2009. Brutal Legend is a weird game. It's a very, very weird game that has, a muscular Jack Black, rock and roll Jack Black. It's a weird game, but you know what? There's a charm to it simply because of its unique art style and the fact that it was just, it says, however, the game sales were considered disappointing, with approximately 215,000 copies sold in the United States in October 2029. This was attributed to the game's marketing, which emphasized Jack Black's involvement and the heavy metal theme, but failed to adequately convey the game's actual gameplay. I thought the game was interesting, at least. Maybe it's not the best game in the world, but at the bare minimum, it was something new. It was something innovative. It was interesting. And I guarantee the game didn't have a $40 million budget. And you're never going to believe who was the publisher for that. It was EA. And the developer was somebody called Double Fine Productions. My point here is that we need to return to a time in gaming before all of this freakdom, all of this degeneracy, all of this just purely malevolent, toxic left-wing garbage. And to close things out, I want to play this little clip from Asmongold. I think this is important.
Did you see the IGN backtracking? Dragon Age the Veilguard is awkwardly in conflict with itself, torn into pieces that reflect the sequel to a decade-old RPG and a fresh beginning to no ties from where it came. You guys just gave it a 9 out of 10, called it the best Dragon Age has ever been. You guys have no credibility left. You're essentially contradicting your own review, the one where you gave it a 9 out of 10. There are games where some people are going to think it's like pretty good, other people are going to think it's pretty bad. I cannot see how anybody can logically assign a 9 out of 10 rating to Dragon Age the Veilguard. I cannot imagine it. Oh no, not enough.
Are you trying to have sex with me?
Wow, in my daydreams, this is where you lean over me and slap the wall.
Quick, think about us having sex.
Gross.
So now we need to figure out if it's Cash Lock or Tom Lock. Tom Lock is serious. Like you want to grab that and taste its neck right by the collarbone.
Oh Oh God! You know what's really funny to me about it, though? Almost all of the problems in this game have to do with this one character. They should have just deleted this character. It gets worse. So basically, the Thieves Guild is no longer the Thieves Guild. I'd appreciate it if you avoided fencing any of the elven artifacts, and we make sure that we're not screwing over a culture that lost it. The Lords of Fortune aren't thieves.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. They're so insufferable. It gets worse. How does this keep getting worse? Who wrote this shit, man? I don't know.
Well, I can tell you who wrote this Asmongold. It was a freak by the name of Trick Weeks, who used to be Patrick Weeks, until he became a they-them freak, a non-binary person. And by the way, I understand. My words are my own; they're not a reflection of anyone else. I stand by what I say, but I know a lot of people. They're like, oh, your tone, your tone is so. Listen, I don't care about my tone. This is the writer. This is Patrick Weeks, who goes by Trick Weeks, because they're they them. They're a freak. I mean, look at their bio. And this is somebody who has deleted their Twitter and moved over to Blue Sky, because that's what you do when you're just one of them. Now, you look at this guy. This was the guy who wrote Dragon Age. This is the guy that wrote Dragon Age the Veilguard. Can you believe they're the same person? I know, it's tough to believe. It really is tough to believe. But that's why the games are so bad. Is because they haven't fired this person. They haven't fired everyone like him, with that same sort of left-wing mentality, with rainbow in the bio. They haven't fired them, because they think that it's more important to send a message than to actually create a good game. The environment at BioWare, it should be, we're DEFCON 1. Like, we fail so many times and things are so bad that we need to be putting our nose to the grindstone. They need to be creating their own department of, BioWare. They need to be creating their own department of BioWare efficiency. Call it DOBE, Call it DOBE. Department of BioWare Efficiency. They need to be axing people left and right. They need to be going back to basics. They need to be coming out with games. Hey, maybe come out with a Dragon Age Origin game where I can actually save the game. Do a full-blown remake where I don't have to log in to play the game. Boy, that was a disaster. For those who don't know, I uploaded a video yesterday, and I bought Dragon Age Origins because I ran a poll on my YouTube community tab asking, would you like to see me play the game? And overwhelmingly people said yes, and so I bought the game on Xbox because I wanted to play it. I didn't get it from Game Pass. I actually bought it. I know it's a novel concept. I believe in buying games. I wanted to buy the game. I also bought all of the DLC with the game. I didn't get it from Game Pass or anything like that. I bought it all. And guess what? It didn't work. And by it didn't work, I mean, at first I had trouble logging into, the EA servers. It would give me this error message. So I had to jump through all these hoops, and then eventually it started to show the wheel, like it's connecting, and then it did connect, only to tell me that the EA servers no longer existed. I tried to play the game, and when I tried to play the game, it told me that it couldn't save. That is correct. The game told me that it couldn't save. It also couldn't access any of the DLC that I had purchased. That game is currently available on the Xbox Marketplace. BioWare and EA are selling that game as we speak. There are other people that could fall into that scam. And so, That company has a lot of work to do to rebuild its reputation. I don't even think there's anything they can do, if you want to know the truth of it. I think they're too far gone. They're too invested in their woke bullshit. They don't really have the will or the manpower to do it. Because it would take a lot of political capital to pull it off. Because you would have to fire all of these freaks. You'd have to fire all of them. You'd have to start going back to basics and saying, we're coming up with a policy where we need to have people that are talented and capable and intelligent and can do the job, rather than people that check the right boxes on a resume. The people that tweet the right things, which are ironically the wrong things. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm going to end things for today's video. It's egregious. It's more of the same. They want to steal your money. Whether it's EA or BioWare coming up with this game that you can't play because you can't log into their servers, or whether it's the media, lying to you to take your money. It's really tough to trust somebody. It's really, really tough to trust somebody and to know where to turn. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to vent myself and say my piece. Anyway, that'll do things for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.